Good morning, bright and early from sunny Florida, everybody. I am so excited to finally be on camera again, especially to be talking about the caladiums that I've been growing for about the past month now. It's been really nice. About a month ago, I think around like August 2nd or 3rd, I went to Lake Placid to go visit Happiness Farms. Just a couple weeks after they had like a Caladium festival in that town, which is so cool. They're like the Caladium capital of the world, I think, is what they call themselves at least. And I was able to go and purchase 6 different varieties of bulbs of a couple different sizes. Number 1 and number 2 is what they call them, number 1 being the bigger ones. But I planted them all up slowly but surely throughout the month of August, and they're all coming up really nicely, as you can see. And it has just been so crazy to watch. They've come up since like, it was really like not even a week, I think, that I planted my first one, that like a shoot was already coming up and like a leaf was unfurling. So the conditions here are just so wonderful to grow caladiums, and just many other things, of course. But I've been holding off making a video because I was just holding myself to like wanting to make a video for all of the varieties all at once that I was growing, but I figured that would probably be way too long of a video and I would just never get around to it, and I might as well just start with one and get it over with. So the first one that I had planted on a whim was the Summer Pink, and I planted that on August 10th. It came out really, really nicely. And so the way it wound up happening was I got some pots and I meant to measure how big they are. Oh goodness, I thought I brought a measuring tape. But I would say they're probably like a 5-inch pot. And they're not too deep. I have since planted some others in some deeper pots because I've seen how the roots on this one have been growing. You could probably, you can see it on camera. It's just been, like I said, it's just been crazy to watch. If I even, it makes me nervous to do this every time, but if I even kind of tip it upside down and show you the roots as they're coming out, they're so prolific. You can see it's rooted in very, very nicely to the point where I shouldn't be as nervous as doing that as I am, but I still am. But like I said, this is the Summer Pink Caladium. Caladiums are in the Araceae family, so they do require very similar care to like the pothos, syngoniums, alocasias, colocacias, the elephant ears, things like that, things that look like elephant ears. They do prefer, or at least caladiums, just like elephant ears, people are gonna say that it's like shade part sun would be the ideal sun like requirements that you would want to give it, or the light that you would want to give it. But I have seen these in absolute full sun, and when I mean full sun, I mean like sun up to sundown, full sun in a field, and completely thriving. Mind you, of course, that is with irrigation, and that's going to be in well-draining soil so that they do get watered pretty often, but they're not sitting in water for fear of like bulb or root rot and things like that. So it is possible to, play with the lighting requirements of certain plants, even things that could be seen as to be so delicate like caladiums, as long as you generally, for certain plants, just increase the water that you're giving it and pay attention to like the soil medium as well as the potting, like the pot that you're putting it in. If I was gonna have it, sorry, I am letting my dogs like sunbathe here on the front porch. They're like out of frame right there, but every morning they like to be in the front sun porch, as you can see, because the sun's coming in this way. So sorry for any car traffic that you hear. Anyways, when I have these in full sun, I actually like to have it in well-draining soil, really, even especially in full shade too, I should say that. In the more shade, I like to have them in like terracotta pots and with well-draining soil. That way I can be heavy-handed with watering. If you're heavy-handed with watering, I would put it in a more well-draining mix with a more aerated pot, like a cement or terracotta pot, something porous, so that it breathes a little more, because you don't want to just have any rot going on and fungus issues, all that kind of stuff. You would want to fertilize maybe once a growing season. They are perennial in zones 9 through 11, so if it gets you know, pretty much freezing or below in your area, you're going to want to take them out at the end of the growing season. Just cut them back and kind of unearth them and put them away in a more like dry, I don't know, even temperature space. That way they can hopefully winter over for your next season. But yeah, and just to further demonstrate the different like lighting and soil and potting requirements, like I said, I've seen them in full sun and like in a field, so in ground. I do have plans for these, to put these in the front of my house, in front of a hedge, as like a lower border. So hopefully these transition nicely from a pot to the landscaping, because I was a little too nervous to put something directly in the landscaping right now. Despite having irrigation, it's not how I generally grow bulbs and things like that. I usually pot them up first. My mom also has had some in the South Texas, like in like a planter that she really enjoyed having them in, and they really came out just wonderfully. I'm sure she waters them often pretty well also. And then lastly, I did have them in Texas in like a glazed ceramic pot, but I was just very cautious with the watering, since I know that doesn't like really breathe much and it holds the moisture. So I made sure that the bulb drank up all the water that was there already before I went ahead and gave it some more water. And that was more of a part sun situation, whereas my mom probably had it she's in South Texas, and she had it like in a planter in the middle of her yard. So that was pretty full sun as well. Do pardon me, I'm still like, I just woke up wanting to do this video today to just go ahead and share with you guys. I'm still like having my coffee and waking up, so I apologize. But anyways, this is actually a pretty tall variety of caladium, if I may say so, especially when you're going to see the other caladiums in this little series I'm going to be doing. There are more dwarf varieties. So this one is what they consider a tall variety. It's going to grow to about 2 to 2.5 feet tall. And it's going to have about the green margin with some like creamy white foliage in the middle, and then it's going to like bleed pink and through the veins in the center. So like I said, I got these from Happiness Farms. I was super happy to get it from them. I have gotten my other, like my favorite caladium variety from them in the past, so I was happy to be able to go visit and to be able to get an assortment of bulbs. They have done a really good job holding up to rain and wind here in Florida, even in the summer, like kind of stormy-ish seasons as we enter hurricane season and all that. I mean, I guess we've been in hurricane season, but surprisingly, thank goodness, all the hurricanes so far have like missed my side of the coast, I guess. Though I hope everyone who has gotten hit by the storms is, doing all right. Sending, many thoughts and all of that. But anyways, what surprisingly has actually held up the best with these caladiums, I actually have them in one of my entryway planters, and it's a pretty tall planter, and the soil level isn't as high as I would probably usually want it to be, just because I had taken out some plants and I didn't refill it all the way before I put in these bulbs. And I actually kind of like that I did that, because it gives it some wind protection, you know what I mean, like at the base level of that stalk. And so it's also just grown in so healthily that there's so much foliage holding each other up that all the foliage is like in a huddle. So like as the wind and the rain moves, like all the foliage just relies on the other foliage to not get bent out of shape, if that makes sense. It's just like a mass of caladiums. I'll pop up a picture in a bit showing you the wonderful caladiums in my container. But that's really it. I don't want to keep this one too long, just because I do have 5 more varieties to show you of just caladiums alone. That's not even going into cannas yet that I really want to show you. I know some people don't really like cannas. I am obsessed with cannas and caladiums and really any other bulb tuberous plant. But yeah, I'll go ahead and see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully I'll come out with one in about a couple more days. I'm trying to be more consistent now that I have I'm just really trying to prioritize showing you guys my plants and just having a place to talk about my plants, because I have so many and every day I want to share them with somebody, and I feel like I have like all of 3 people to talk to plants about, and they're probably getting tired of me. So I hope you guys aren't tired yet, and if you're not, please feel free to like subscribe and hit the notification bell so that hopefully I see you again in a couple days. Bye!